Boker Tov, Erev Shabbat Shalom. Continuing now where we left off in the different halachot of Lashon Hara Rechilut, categories of Lashon Hara. Category number 5 is relaying over ignorance or other deficiencies. The author writes, to report one's lack of Torah or general knowledge, lack of intellect, or any other deficiency that will cause the listeners to lower their opinion of the subject is Lashon Hara. And they bring down in the bottom, however, there's an exception to this rule. We'll say it very quickly. If there's an argument or controversy between two people, and one can calm down the ill feelings by convincing one of the parties that the other person did not really mean it, and it was just stupidity on his part that caused him to speak or act foolishly, that would be permitted scenario, and can even be considered a mitzvah. This is derived from the halakha that permitting one to speak Lashon Hara about Baalei Machloket. We'll see that later on when in section 8, Bezat Hashem. If by doing so can diffuse the argument. So obviously, if you can help bring shalom, then you can minimize the two parties in each other's eyes to bring shalom and bring peace amongst them. But generally speaking, to report someone isn't smart, or doesn't know Torah, or isn't successful in business, or is lazy, or any of these things, is considered 100% Lashon Hara. They bring a few examples. For example, number 1, if the person is not yet married, then shiruchim, prospective marriage partners, or shadchanim, matchmakers, will stay away from him. If he has a business and you say that he's not hardworking or he's not smart, or if he provides a service, or he's a teacher, no one will want to hire him or deal with him because of the negative report. If he's a craftsman, or report that he's not skilled at his craft, also constitutes Lashon Hara as well, says the Chafetz Chaim. They continue and say this also applies to a rabbi or a dayan or a rabbinical judge as well. If someone declares that this rabbi is not smart, not learned, doesn't know what he's saying, it can cause substantial harm to him, to his family, to the community, to the town. If people stop listening to the rabbi and stop seeking advice, and he has no one to speak to, no one to teach to, the person who spread the slander about his intellect and his Torah understanding is at fault in all of these examples. And lastly, in another example, if a new son-in-law joins the family and moves into his wife's hometown, and the word starts to spread that he's not a Talmid Chacham, or he's not a good learner, or he doesn't have good midot, or any of these things, that certainly will hurt his standing in the eyes of the new in-laws and his wife, and will cause him tremendous pain and suffering. They bring down, very quickly wrap up with this, the Chafetz Chaim explains why, in theory, this category is worse than whenever we say something that's true, that's derogatory, like this guy stole or he committed a crime. He says, number 1, if a person thinks it's not as bad to say that another individual is not smart, he should think to himself, what if someone would say that about me? I would be worried, sick, thinking about what he saw in me to say that, or I would assume that he's simply a bad person, a Baal Lashon Hara, who enjoys putting other people down for no reason. That's reason number 1. Number 2, in a way, this type of Lashon Hara is worse than reporting that a person committed a crime or a negative act, since in those cases the speaker often feels that telling others is warranted, while there is no justification in reporting someone is not smart. And C, with typical Lashon Hara, the listener may not rush to believe the speaker and may strive to give the subject benefit of the doubt. However, if a person speaks negatively about another's intellect, most people will accept it right away and not even try to give the speaker to desist from his negativity and forbidden speech. The fact that this Lashon Hara is that this category of Lashon Hara is often overlooked. God forbid if someone speaks negatively about someone's intellect, how smart he is, his capability to learn, we often don't give benefit of the doubt to, and that's why the Chafetz Chaim says it could be one of the most severe categories of Lashon Hara. We'll continue with this Bezat Hashem after Chanukah. Chazak Baruch and Titzvot.